Welcome to the the Supercoach Take podcast. Joining me today is my co-host, Enno. How are you, mate? And tell us where can the people find us?
You can find us at Supercoach Take on Spotify, Twitter as well. You can always message us on there, and then also Podbean for these podcasts.
Actually, a few people
That
have been
intro.
DMing us on the Facebook page, so you can do that if you want, but
Yep,
not too much.
Facebook as well.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
how did you score this week for round 2?
Last week wasn't too bad. I mean, I thought I was heading pretty decently until Sunday. A couple of scores weren't too great, but 2,290. So you definitely take that top 4%. Was pretty abysmal week one. We were both around 50k or whatever. So I moved up 34k spots to 13,000. So you take that. What
Very
about you?
nice. Yeah, no good. 21-21. So better things this week, I hope, and a few problems, but I think we're going to fix them hopefully this week.
It's early doors. I mean, I was just, there's like a few hundred points between, first and where you are really. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I think round 5-ish, I reckon, is you start getting a better idea.
You got to make a move before then, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not up high.
So next few rounds, you've got to get moving.
Yep.
So a hot take. I shall go first.
Yep.
My hot take
There we go.
is probably not a surprise to many, but I think Matthew Rao scores 130 plus against the Crows.
Again.
And the Gold Coast win by 10 goals against the Crows. I think the Crows have no answer. They don't have the talent to come back from their terrible start. They're just going to get hammered every week. I just don't see how it's possible. You agree with that? Do you think
I'm just looking now. He's obviously after last week he's 170. His break even's minus 90, but it's actually got Supercoach here as he's projected is 126. And if he does that, he'll go up 97k and he'll be almost 400k by round 3. That would be insane. Definitely not out of my hot take. Look, I had another one, and after further investigation, I have to cut that one back. We won't mention it, but I've got down here Max King's going to be the best forward rookie. Now I know that's a bit, Curtis Taylor's doing pretty well for himself, 278s and a 70 or 78 and a 79. But I think if probably not this week against the Pies, but Max King could kick a few bags. I really rate his talent. I reckon if Rao didn't exist, he'd be my pick for the Rising Star. I know it's been 2 rounds, it's a bit early, but he would be who I'd be putting my money on because I reckon he's got heaps of talent. I mean, I've got Saints mates telling me that he's the next Jesus Christ as well, so that might, be pumping.
I thought that was wrong.
I actually tend to agree with him. I reckon he's really... no, let's not talk about that.
Well, that's interesting you say that. I was almost considering trading him if I had to trade any one of the forward rookies in round 1, but then none of them got named.
He could have turned up. He should have turned up on the weekend. He just a couple slipped through his hands. He would have had 3 or 4. I was always going to field him against that doggies back line because that was disgusting.
Yeah,
but
good call.
I reckon he's got a couple of big scores in him. So
good signs for Saints fans. Now, we have a few dilemmas. We're going to go through 2 dilemmas for this week. The first dilemma we have is, Dustin Martin has just been named as an out for round 3. So I believe he has a rib soreness, and I think, he played through it last week. So I'm seeing a few people trade him out. I will be holding. What are your thoughts on trade or hold one Dustin Martin?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll be holding unless some carnage or other things happen at the selection tomorrow. But he got it before the last game, so it can't be too bad. It must just be a quick, freshen up because obviously he's still not 100%. So I'd bank him being back next week. So yeah, I'll probably be holding for sure.
Hold for me, yeah. I think if you have nothing else going on, I think you could trade him out if you want. But I think there's so many rookies this week that you need to get in. So I think the case, look, Dusty looked unreal in round 1. Just saw in round 2. He's a hold for me.
Yep.
Next dilemma. You'll like this one.
Your dilemma.
So should non-Gorn owners be concerned? What do you think? Should we? That's me, by the way, and a few others. Should we be concerned? Not only Gorn.
Doesn't have the hardest draw coming up. He's got Tommy Bell Chambers this week, Reece Stanley next week, and then who's he got? Sydney the week after. And I mean, Naismith might be back by then, but if he's not, even so, he should tail up whoever that he's up against that week. He really could go on a massive tear, and average 150 for the next 3 weeks. So yeah, if you obviously had Naismith, that's gone out the window. Hopefully, he comes back for you this week. Wink, wink. But Piternet's there, so I know you'll be bringing him in. But he scored 130 against Gorn. So do you think that's sustainable for him the next 3 weeks?
Oh no, of course not. But he can definitely score, and I'll take it right now. This has come from the clouds and saved us Naismith owners. So I'm taking this. I'll be keeping Naismith at R3, by the way. Unless Grundy's out, that's another story. He's sore. He has bone bruising on his knee. But will sort itself out Thursday night, I think. But yeah, I'm not too concerned not owning Gorn because I think there's a lot of money to be made at R2. And the thing was, if I didn't pick Gorn, I would have had a donut in defense. So I'm okay with it so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gorn could easily go on like you said, a stretch of like 160, which would be very painful. And he seems to play a lot on Sundays, so Sundays seem to be pretty bad for me. But yeah, I think you just trust Pitnet for the time being. He scored very well at BFL level, and hopefully Naismith comes back and makes some dollars, so it should be good.
Yeah, Gorn does play on Sunday the next 3, so he's really only a captaincy option though, because I'd be more worried if I was you actually if people could VC him. Because they might take another VC score and miss out on a big one on a Sunday. Yeah. But anyway.
So a lot of players underperformed in round 2, and we can speak about those players. And obviously, it's a very small sample size, but there are a few red flags. So Dan Houston is the first underperformer we can speak about, and I'm an owner of Dan Houston. You're an owner of Dan Houston. I'm not sure what happened to this pick. He looked very good in the preseason, but now his role. He's not getting the centre bounces he did in the preseason. He got the most centre bounces for Port in the preseason games, by the way, and he only had 7 on the weekend, and he played poorly. I want to get rid of this pick. I don't want to see his name next to in my team ever again. How do you feel about Dan Houston?
Maybe I don't feel that badly because I actually didn't watch the game. So maybe you watched him play terribly and you feel that way. I think I'm going to give him one more week. His break even isn't too high. It's I think 120 I was looking at before, and I'm probably going to prioritise other things other than trading him out. But this would be absolutely his last week. They've had 2 easy games or opponents, and he hasn't fired a shot. And they get another one this week in Freo. So for me, it's his last chance. And then I'll worry about him next week. Pending Dusty and all that other stuff. So this week I'm prioritising other things, but yeah, he's definitely the first one to go next week if he gets another bad performance.
That's a fair point. I think you can afford to hold him for another week, but see how he goes. So Rory Laird, who's been probably the most reliable premium over the past 4 years in defence. Now we have a problem because the Crows are going to lose very badly every game. And to be honest, even though this Laird was scoring okay last year, he's regressed as a player. The amount of times he just runs in a straight line and kicks the ball 40 metres in the air, and it just goes to nobody. It's kind of frustrating to watch. But yeah, the defense is under the pump, and he's still not getting. He's getting the ball, but his score doesn't go up enough, even though he's getting a lot of disposals. He was the 3rd highest scorer for the Crows, I think, and he scored 70-something.
Oh,
So I think that was Dream Team. I can't remember for Supercoach, but either way, Rob pretty much doubled the second best player. Rob scored about 160 for the Crows. So it's a huge issue with Laird. I'm going to hold because I think he can. I think worst case high 80s, just because of the way his style of play. Like his bad games are 70s. So can't see him dropping like a 40 or anything. So plays Gold Coast, which is his favorite team to play against, but they're better now. So I'm a little concerned, but I'm going to hold for the short term and reassess. If he drops to 450k, fine, whatever. But I think I'm okay holding for the time being.
yeah, that's fair enough. I probably won't ever really look at him this year. I don't think, unless for whatever reason he gets really cheap and then looks to be back in form. But yeah, I'll probably stay away from Lairdy this year.
He's not really benefiting from the new rules either because he's kind of like the endurance players kind of seem to be suffering a little bit, and a lot of the intercept defenders, Howe, Stewart, these guys are spending massive time on ground.
Yeah,
And Laird's not really benefiting from that sort of thing. So
he can't really accumulate as much as he used to be able to. I reckon. Yeah.
So I'm just going to hold for the time being, but not happy. I think you could get rid of him if you want, but I don't think it's going to. If you hold him, it's not going to do too much damage to you. Now Ben Long, I thought this was a good pick, and it still might be a good pick. I watched him on the weekend, and he played 94% time on ground, and I didn't notice him pretty much for the whole game. So you have Ben Long.
Yeah. Yeah, I got sucked into that one. I mean, like you said, he might still be a good pick, but geez, watching him on Sunday, I was just tearing my hair out that I actually fell into that trap. But he still has a fairly low break even. For whatever reason, I just don't know. He just couldn't get near the ball. It just wasn't going. No one was using him. Don't know if that's his fault, not getting in the right spots. But when I saw Robertson out, I thought Ben Long might be able to hold down, that half-back spot and get used quite a bit. But he just didn't get enough of it. So, yeah, hopefully he bounced back this week.
Are you holding?
Yeah, I'm holding. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give him a shot. His break even's 14, so
Okay.
I'll give him another shot, and he might get it. He might get another big score and boost some more cash gen.
Yep. Now, I'm seeing some crazy people trade out Jack McRae. And I understand the role Luke Beveridge has moved the magnets as he does. He's put Jack McRae on a wing. And to be honest, it makes sense because I know a lot of people saying he's one of the best on ballers in the game. Play him on ball. But he's a flexible midfielder. They need a winger because Hunter's out. And they have plenty of inside mids. So it kind of makes sense for him to play on the wing.
Yeah. I mean, would Dunks play on a wing? No.
No.
That's the reason McRae's out there.
So I think this is a definite hold because when Hunter comes back, I mean, Bailey Smith is taking a lot of the mid time, a lot of the centre bounces, and Bond's still getting a lot of centre bounces as well. So I still think even if McRae gets less centre bounces, he might get pushed a bit half forward. I still think he can average 110. So, and if he moves in the middle, great. He averages maybe 120. So, definite hold for me. You don't have McRae, do you?
No, I didn't start him this year because I went with the Neil and Fife combo. But yeah, I'd be holding definitely if I had him. He can still definitely average good scores out in the wing. I mean, a lot of players can. We'll get to another one later, but just because you play on the wing, I know you probably want a few more centre bounces and not zero in the first half like it was in the weekend. But I don't expect that to happen again this week. That's definitely not happening. They're coming up against one of the best mids in the comp. He'll be back in there. I mean, their season really depends on it this week. You go 0-3, they're not making finals. So
No.
McRae will get more mid-time this week, and I would 100% be holding him if I was an owner.
Yep. Next, we have John Segler. So John Segler hasn't done a lot wrong. His dream team was 70-something, and his Supercoach was 70-something. So he was actually the most for dream team points for Hawthorn last week in round 2, but he just didn't convert to Supercoach. There is a little bit of concern, Hawks, they might need to switch things up because they're not playing great. Clarko did say that Ben McAvoy's 3 out of 4 games this year, including the Marsh Series games, he was happy with McAvoy down back. So that indicates I think they're going to persist with McAvoy down back and Segler in the ruck. I think this is definitely a hold. I don't think he'll be a top 6 ruck, but there is value in the fact that he can cover if needed, which I've already used. So I think Segler is a hold, and I think it's hold him until something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So hopefully, look, I remember Paddy Ryder a few years ago. He was averaging in the 80s for the first 2 months. For the rest of the year after that, he averaged 110 in the 110s and became the All-Australian ruckman. So Segler hasn't really had a long stretch of time, a long period of time where he's been the solo ruckman. I think he's going to improve. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but I think get some more games into him as a solo ruck because he's waited for this chance for his whole career. Yeah, I think hold John Segler, and still his average isn't a disaster or anything. So, and the rucks are performing better this year on average. So, definitely hold Segler for me.
I agree with most of what you said. I would be worried if I had him as slightly the role changing because they played I think 4 tall backs last week, which or like tallish backs. Stratton, Frost, Sicily can play tall obviously, and McAvoy like they just got killed by the Cat small forwards. So they got us this week. The Tigers we played 2 key forwards and then a lot of smalls. So Clarko will have to drop someone either. I forgot Frawley as well. So that they're really tall down back.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
either one of those backs gets dropped or they do the ruck change. But who will see?
Yeah. So Nick Natanui, I don't know why anyone picked this player in the first place. He did pretty good against Scorn, but look, I know it's a bit rich for me to say his durability when I have Naismith, but at his price, you probably want him. I'm not sure about a keeper, but like a stepping stone to Gorn. But he just hasn't performed, and he's just had so many injuries. What do you think of Nick Natanui?
What was it? Points per minute? Wasn't that what everyone was picking him?
Yeah, I just don't see the upside at his price.
Yeah, nah, it's too much injury risk, and yeah, I mean, you know me, I've said it, I was never going to stuff around with the rucks. There's no reason to. It's worked for 2 or 3 years, like until it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Just keep plugging in the 2 big guys. So yeah, I mean, I saw appeal with a little, because he's a bit cheap. But if you're going to go cheap, you go Naismith or Sauce. I don't think you should mess around with Nick Nat. So.
yep.
Yeah, if you went him, I'd just correct it now and get Pitto this week, and then aim to get one of the other rucks later down the track.
Straight to Pitto if you have Nick Nat, in my opinion. And same for No Speaker English, who Sam Lloyd should be put in jail for his comments comparing English to Grundy in the preseason.
Oh, he's a crab.
It's such a yeah.
He's performed like one for the first 2 rounds. Let's put it that way.
But yeah, Pitnat problem solved for me. Tom Duday. I don't understand this pick coming back from an ACL and had hamstring injury in the preseason. Performs really poorly. The Crows are going to lose a lot, and I think he probably averages in the 70s. But there's not a lot you can do with Duday this round. So I think you hold and then just trade him out when you can. You can still start him on the field, but don't expect him to make too much money. So if you had Duday, would you just hold for the time being?
I was just going to quickly look up his break even. Yeah, I never liked this pick, but sort of like my long pick. If it's 65, so it's a bit higher than I thought. It obviously depends on your team, but give him one more week. Give him one more week. They got Gold Coast.
Yeah,
it was his first game back, like you said. So yeah,
that's fair.
He'll surely improve this week. You would think, and if not, well then yeah, then look to move him on.
All right, talk to me about Josh Kelly. He's hasn't set the world on fire.
No, he hasn't. Definitely wasn't impressive on the weekend, obviously, but Neither was anyone on the Giants team. That was a pretty insipid performance. Um, I'm holding him. He turned up round one against the Cats, which wasn't that impressive either, but he's obviously not getting as much, a bit like McRae, not as much mid-time as we'd hope, but he always has played the wing, fair amount of time on the wing, so I still think he can score well out there. He's one of the classiest, if not the classiest player in the comp, when it comes to using the footy. So I picked him for a reason. I reckon he's going to finish as a top 8 mid, so I'll be holding him. And I not that this is a tipping show, but I think the Giants will get back on track this week versus the Dogs, and he'll have a big game.
They both need to win
They
really
both
badly.
do. They
Be a
both
good game.
do, yeah.
So those are the underperformers. Now we can speak about players to get in this week. I think the first one we can discuss is Jeremy Howe. Now this was your first hot take. You said he wasn't going to be a top 6 defender, and you
Oh,
backtracked.
only reason I
Really
backtracked
quickly
is because
backtracked.
there's no other options. Like, he has no competition right now. It's the top. I just keep looking down the list and thinking fraud, fraud, fraud. Like your rampies and your, there's just not that many options down back to really compete to push him out of top 6. So
His
yeah, I
last
backtracked out of that one.
His last 10 games last year, he averaged around 100. So that's the only thing that I'm holding on to give me confidence. He's due for a stinker of a game, I think. And it's probably going to come when everyone gets him in that missed him this week. I'll be getting him in this week purely because of price, because I need to get Pitton in as well. But I think you can get Howard if you want for 80k. I think, as we said, his time on ground is, I think it was 100%. And the intercept marks seem to be the things that are worth more, like intercept marks, are getting scaled up harder. So that definitely helps him. So I'll be getting Howe in for 480k. I think that's
Yeah,
reasonable for what he's shown so far.
I was gonna
But
say
definitely,
the last week to get him in, because if he scores 100, he'll go up. He'll be about 530, 540. So
yeah,
yeah, if you want him, get him now.
yeah. Someone that you are considering this week that I think a lot of people have maybe forgotten about is Hunter Clark. Can you explain Hunter Clark? He's a very talented player. I don't mind him. So what do you think?
He's classy. I always thought he had talent. Like I said, I've got mad Saints mates and always talk to me about all their players. So um, when he got drafted a couple of years ago, he was highly touted as, a lot of talent. Eventually, he was going to be a good midfielder, but he's found a nice spot down back. Takes intercepts, uses the ball pretty well by foot. I think he was among most kicks on the ground on Sunday against the Dogs, or second
Okay.
most, I think, behind Zach Jones. So he kicks the footy, which is another obviously great thing for Supercoach. And he's only 410k. That I was going to get him in probably if I flicked. I think I'm looking other ways, with Pito and probably another rookie that I don't have this week. So I'm going to park that. But yeah, I'd like to just take one more look at Hunter this week against the Pies. It's going to, probably be down his end a bit, see if he can produce another good score. And he'll still be pretty affordable next week for, Dan Houston, but he spuds it up again. But yeah, I really like him.
How much? What did he score in round one?
I think it was 90 odd round one and then 105 last
80.
week. So
It was 84 and 105.
84,
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
Still a reasonable price. That is very cheap, especially for this year in a shortened season. I
He
don't
got a
mind.
lot of hype pre-season, didn't he? So a lot of people were
Yeah,
talking about him. So
I think the second half of last year averaged
yeah,
90 something. So it's
yeah.
not a bad punt, I think, for Hunter Clark. Now, there are four. I think these forwards are around mid 400k, so like 450ish k.
Mm.
They are Christian Petrarca, Connor Rosie, Jai Simpkin, and Baslenka. If you don't know Baslenka, it's Bailey Smith. So we're going to
If you don't
call
know
him
Baz Lanky,
Baslenka.
you don't listen to this podcast.
No, it is a Baslenka podcast after all. We need to put these guys in order from first to fourth. And I still haven't made up my mind just yet because I'm struggling.
That's
Can you
because
go
you got
first so I can
Baz
start
so
with it?
so far up, so high up. It did take me a while in pre-season to come around to the track because he's burnt me in the past. But for me, he's easily number one here. Has the role. He's the next bona fide superstar of the comp. He's got all the tools. So he's number one for me. Just because he has that role, like I said. So his floor is a lot higher than these other guys. And then probably Baz too.
Oh, okay.
And then the last one has me tossing up because Simpkin's a good player, but Rosie's an absolute gun. But I'd probably still go Simkin 3, Rosie 4, just because Simkin also has a role. So I've gone the three guys with the role, and then obviously Rosie still plays a little bit of mid. But yeah, that was going to be my other hot take. I was thinking about Rosie's going to average 85 for the rest of the year because they played a couple of easy teams, and he's.
Yeah. I think that's the thing.
One Baz 2, Simkin 3, Rosie 4.
I respect that. Bailey Smith number 2. That's good.
Yeah. How could I listen to you and not come around to him eventually?
So this is my last 5 tweets have all been Bailey Smith. I think I need to change topic. I think people are getting sick of me. People were arguing with me on Twitter about it. I was saying that he's better than Walsh, and people were calling me out and whatever. But
didn't someone say that someone was claiming Baslinga as his friend? You cracked it straight away. Saying
No.
you found him before anyone else.
I claimed him.
I reckon
it's fine.
you did. You were on him last year, so
I'm happy people are coming around it now, because I still think that he's miles ahead of Walsh. But that's just me. But yeah, good to see the Bailey Smith love. So now I have to put Petrarca, Rosie, Simpkin, and Baz in order. I think Petrarca is the highest. You say highest floor?
Yeah, I reckon.
Like highest ceiling, I think.
But he probably has that as well. But yeah. He's number one for me. So
okay,
for you.
So first I have, and the only reason I have Petrarca first is because of Luke Beveridge. If Luke comes out and says Bailey Smith is playing on ball for the entire
half
year,
forward.
Bezlanka number 1. You know, actually, I changed my mind. Bezlanka 1, Petrarca 2, and then I'm going to say Simkin. I'm going to say Rosie 3, Simkin 4.
Yeah,
and obviously we've seen him downhill ski all over Gold Coast and the Crows. So I don't know where Gold Coast are finishing this year, but probably not in the top 8. Probably not. Who knows with Rao? But and then the Crows are guaranteed to get pick 1 this year. So it's hard to say when you haven't seen him against a good team yet. And then Simkin, I'm a little unsure on Simkin. I think it's definitely has breakout potential.
Yeah.
He's got that role as well. So I think all these options I think you can go for. But I just think I've seen Bailey Smith. He uses the ball so well. His decision making, like when I was watching Sam Walsh play, he got the ball and he just panicked. He didn't know what to do. He kicked it.
Yeah.
I see Bailey Smith and he just picks the right option every time.
Yeah.
So he has tackles. He can rack up disposals. His disposal efficiency is always going to be, high for an inside mid. And then there's Petrarca. So Petrarca, I still think there's this is probably a long shot, but he still could be a trap. I don't think so though. I'm probably say 80% confident that he's a premium. I think people probably more sold on Petrarca than me. He did have a poor Marsh too, but I feel like he scored really well against Carlton. Scored really well against the Crows in the preseason, and then I forgot who they played round 1. But he scored okay.
I watched that game in the week. He was the only one him and Gawn were the only two that were doing anything in the second half, and a bit of Clary. Clary was pretty good too. So yeah.
So, speaking of Clary, Clary is actually not going to get tagged every game now. He could be a good pick.
Yeah, and his tog's gone up a bit. He used to be like a sort of 80% guy. Oh no, he was the same. No, I'm looking at Petrarca. Petrarca was 90% on ground almost, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I shouldn't have any doubts about Petrarca really. But yeah, I have Baz 1, Petrarca 2, Rosie 3, Simkin 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the smartest thing to do if you're getting a player in is probably Petrarca, to be honest.
Yeah, if you didn't have any of these four, go track for sure.
But yeah, both all look like really good options. So we can quickly touch on the rookies. So Mark Pitnet, very difficult to, I think Pitnet, sorry, I've been saying Pitnet, but who cares about the French? So Pitnet, I'll be getting him in. Fortunately for me, I have an extra 100k in the bank, so that just works out fine. I'm actually going to trade out Tyler Brown, who still has a lot of money to make, but I want to keep Naismith to make more money. So Pitnet, I think if you can, you definitely get him in. Can you get Pitnet this week?
Yeah, I'll be looking at doing that. He's got to make a lot of cash. If he plays the next 3 weeks and even just averages like 85, 90, he's going to be up to 350k, pushing 400. So, yeah, that's cash gen. At the moment, you could find into maybe a couple of rookies, but it's almost, I don't want to say guarantee because I'll put the mods on him, but if he's got the ruck one role and Cruz is out for longer than 4 weeks now. He's out for 2 months. So, yeah, it seems pretty simple to me to get him in this week.
Yep.
Just annoying. You have to sit him at R3 in my case.
Yeah, I still think it's worth it though, because he could easily make 200k. Maybe
yeah,
more.
it is worth it. Yeah.
Darcy Cameron, we don't really know if Mason Cox plays. But same with, I don't know if Grundy plays, probably, but sort that out tomorrow, Thursday, when teams are named. I think Darcy Cameron is one you can probably miss, to be honest. I just think Mason Cox is threatening his spot. And I think the reason why Cox didn't play is he needed to get some training under his belt after being injured. So, and Cox is a better forward than Cameron, and that's kind of what they need right now. So I'm a little concerned for his job security. But I think this week, if Grundy's a bit sore, he might need help from Cameron. I think you can get him in if you want, but I'd have him as a lesser priority. I'd have Pitnet and Bennell above Darcy Cameron.
Yep.
Are you looking to get in Darcy Cameron?
Nah, I agree with most of what you said. I won't be getting him in this week. Cox has definitely come back in. Depends if he's ready this week or next week. So, yeah, I'll prioritise other rookies ahead of him.
Okay, Sam Sturt. If he's named, are you getting Sam Sturt in?
He's the one, yeah. If he's named, I'll be getting him in. Really impressive in round 1. Wish I started him over someone else, but yeah, he's got a lot of cash to make. So it depends on Benny if he gets named, Benny Davis. If not, just a little straight swap to Sturt. So that's probably my number 1 because we're getting to Bennell, and yeah, I know me and you both got him last week. So what do you think on Bennell?
I have Bennell. I think I explained this in my video. He has the injury risk, whereas the others have job security risk. So that's why I went for Bennell. I just thought take the injury risk over job security risk. So they heavily managed him. He played well. You'd think he's only going to get better. So I think Bennell you can definitely get in. Would I get Bennell over Sturt? That's a tough one, I think. I think you do. What do you think? Bennell over Sturt?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I went early on one of them on Bennell last week, just because of that possibility. But if I didn't have either, that is actually really tough. I'd almost, because, obviously you're probably getting Pitt, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's got upside, doesn't he? Like he could really actually, if he starts playing more game time, what did he get? 59 off.
Yeah,
Card,
50%, nearly 60, something like that.
Yeah, so if he only starts playing more time, he's going to pretty good scoring rookie. So, 50%. Yeah, so I'd go Bennell.
Yep. And Ned McHenry, I believe his job security is excellent. He's a little injury prone, and there's no doubt he's going to get suspended because he's reckless. I don't think you need to get McHenry in. I have him in because I got him in last week. I decided to go early on all the rookies to free up this week, which I think has worked out pretty well. But we'll find out if some get dropped tomorrow, on Thursday. You don't have to get McHenry in if you don't want to, but if you have all the other rookies and you're looking to get more in, you can go for McHenry.
Yep. Yeah, agree.
Now, captains. So Grundy's slightly kind of under an injury cloud with knee bone bruising. Will you still vice captain him if he plays?
I would only vice captain him. Yeah, I wouldn't go a vice earlier and have him as the captaincy option, just because there's a slight risk. If there's a risk, with the injury. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with vicing him. And then you got Neil that night against West Coast, who might not have Shuey. Danger if you've got him, and obviously Gorn on the Sunday if you've got him. So, yeah, I was still vice captain Grundy.
I'll be doing Grundy into Neil. I don't trust Dangerfield as a captain option, to be honest. He's just pulled a few. I don't think he's had a great score this year, has he? Because he had the Bourne round 1, and then round 2 he scored like 100.
Yeah.
I think you could vice him against Carlton, against at Cardinia Park. So I think 2 of Gorn, Neil, and Grundy.